Everyone, my name is Anthony Horvath. I'm the executive director of Thanatos Christian Ministries and the publisher of a book by Jamie Greening called The Little Girl Awaits. It's available right now. You can go to the website at thelittlegirlawaits.com to pick up a copy. And I've got the author here in front of me. You can see him. He's looking at the world. Jamie, why don't you just give us some idea of what inspired you to write this book?
Well, Tony, thanks for asking and for being here. There were several inspirations for the book. One were the characters that I created in my first book, a collection of short stories. It wasn't a novel. It was just different short stories and different characters. And what I began to think about is how could I take some of those characters and meld them into one novel? Then I began to think about other characters I could create that would be fun and interesting. What I didn't have a plot. I didn't have a reason to put them together. And then I began to see coming across my desk, I was a full-time pastor at the time, coming across my desk, this terrible issue of child sex trafficking and of enslavement of children. And thought was, oh, how could I address that issue then with these characters, these rich and live characters that I've made? And so I began to think through, okay, how can I work this out? And so that's what I did, was those two things melded together, and the result was The Little Girl Waits, which is a novel of Pastor Butch Gregory and his two helpers, his co-workers, Amber Smith and Wyoming Wallace, as they try and rescue a little girl who's been abducted and is fated to be a part of the international child sex trade, which right now has, by conservative numbers, over 1 million children are involved in right now against their will. Kind of sort of the inspiration behind it.
Okay. Besides the fact that that was an issue that sort of presented itself as an interesting way to frame your book and put all of your characters together in one spot, where do you think the church is on this issue? Is it as active as you want? Do you have greater plans for your book in hopes of being a catalyst, or is it more, are your goals more modest?
Well, I'd like for the book to create change in people who write it. I don't know of any writer who doesn't want that. When you invest so much, 3 years of your life goes into writing something, you'd like for it to make a difference in people's lives, but also the life of churches. My whole life I've been involved in local churches, and I think that is a great catalyst for change. Let me address your question with a bigger picture. I do believe the church right now, through increased awareness, is doing a better job at the global aspects, just like we almost always do. It is so much easier for congregations in the West and the United States to think about helping people far away, which is important. Please don't misread me here. That's important. But where we often neglect things is in our own backyard. I don't think that most people who sit in congregations every Sunday are aware that some of the girls and some of the boys in their very children's ministry are at risk, or perhaps even currently being hurt and abused in terrible ways. So if we can increase awareness that these are kids that we know, that we see, that we have a responsibility for, then I think if people's eyes can be opened from this book, then I would be very, very happy about that. That's where real differences can make a difference.
Tell us a little bit about the book itself. Like, what's your favorite character? You mentioned Pastor Butch Gregory, and I assume you model him after you. Are there any characters besides him that you have a particular fondness for?
I love them all, to be honest. You mentioned Butch Gregory as a model after me. In some regards, that answer is yes, because you have to write what you know. Now, on another level, I think Butch Gregory is pretty much nicer than I am. I was never as kind as he is. An alter ego. My daughters read the book, and what they said is that Butch Gregory and then Wyoming Wallace are both twin sides of my own personality. Of course, Wyoming is a completely different kind of character. I never served in the military like he did, and certainly does not have quite the adventuresome background. But they said that what I was doing was I was loading up aspects of me into both of them. I don't know how much truth there is to that. I do take into consideration that my oldest daughter is a college freshman who took Psychology 101, and so she's probably trying to overanalyze her old man. I like the Amber character. One of the things I like about her is I wanted to write a strong female character. Too many times, and I think this is true in Christian literature especially, in one regard, and then in secular literature, I don't really like to differentiate the two, but for purposes here, I think it makes sense. Oftentimes in Christian literature, the female characters made smaller only as devices to help the male protagonist along. Wives, helpers, associates, things of that nature. In non-Christian literature, women are almost completely objectified as only sexual objects. And one only has to look at the book covers that permeate a lot of non-edifying literature to see what I'm talking about. So for me, the creation of a strong female character who is independent, yet working with these other two men to a greater end, and then has her own calling and her own function apart from the main protagonist, was a powerful motivation for me to write something that my girls can read and other women can read and see themselves in the text. That's significant for me. So I like all these characters.
Without giving away too much, can you tell us why the book has the title that it has?
There is an enigmatic prophecy. Now, I use that word very, very carefully. I don't mean biblical prophecy. This is fiction. I am playing with slightly supernatural elements in the text. There is this prophetic utterance that is made that begins with that phrase, the little girl waits. So I wanted the title to come from the text itself. So I decided to go with The Little Girl Waits. I really believe it's a good title. It kind of describes what the book's tone is, because even though it deals with the abduction of this little girl, most of the book is not about her. So The Little Girl Waits is what's on the heart and mind of the searchers as they're looking for her.
Thank you so much for your time. And people can find your book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other online retailers. The website is thelittlegirlwaits.com. And we hope that you read it, enjoy it, leave a review, and get in touch with the author. Thanks, Jamie.